Artificial intelligence has come to a point where it has flooded the internet and overfed us with meaningless AI slop. Its infrastructure puts strain on our water resources and devours an ever-growing stream of electricity. But what exactly are the hidden costs of this disruptive new technology? And why does using our own human brains still make sense in a dystopian world full of hollowed-out copies? When AI first came out, people were given a wonderful promise. Companies claimed that artificial intelligence would take the burden of drab, repetitive tasks off our shoulders, so that we could have more time for creative hobbies. However, artists and writers now face the opposite reality, where AI has stolen their work without permission to make their talent obsolete. Tiring manual chores still have to be done by humans, while machines threaten to replace a high number of the office workforce. So-called artworks now can be created with one simple click. A real artist, on the other hand, had to sacrifice years, if not decades, to build up his skills and make satisfying art. As a creative person, you might ask yourself what use your pencil or brush in your hand still has. Why should you attempt to laboriously carve out a piece that AI can imitate instantly and copy millionfold? Over 40 years ago, the prophetic French thinker Jean Baudrillard has captured this absurd modern condition in his essay Simulacra and Simulation. The universe and all of us have entered life into simulation, into the malefic, not even malefic, indifferent sphere of deterrence. In a bizarre fashion, nihilism has been entirely realized, no longer through destruction, but through simulation and deterrence. Imagine someone sitting in their room and having given up on their passion for creation. They no longer need to make an effort, but rather choose to churn out stories and pictures with the help of generative AI. Instead of going outside and collecting authentic experiences, they have become a petrified fossil that is caught up in a senseless loop of imitation. An individual like that no longer produces, but endlessly recycles and regurgitates poorly stitched together patchworks of real human passion. Living in the shadow of machines, humans themselves have abolished their kind to make way for a fully mechanized nightmare and end-stage nihilism. It might sound a bit dramatic, but for me, the use of AI touches on the very core of our humanity. In the last few centuries, we have gradually lost our natural pace of life and got integrated in an environment that is deeply hostile to our biological system. The symptoms today can be observed in a general sense of anxiety, restlessness, and bizarre addictive behaviors. We were never meant to go faster and faster and to overproduce for the sake of blind consumption. In that sense, AI is not something groundbreaking and surprising, but rather the logical last step in a long process of complete alienation. The final nail in the coffin of humankind, as I like to put it. But are we really doomed to go down such a dreary route? Opposed to the fears that sometimes are stoked, I don't think that all of us will lose their human souls. Crafting things and coming up with new ideas is the very essence of our nature. In his novel Demian, Hermann Hesse beautifully describes this will to create with Emil Sinclair's life account. Even as a child, I had at intervals a fondness for observing strange forms in nature, not so much examining them as surrendering myself to their magic, their oblique message. Long tree roots, colored veins in rock, patches of oil floating on water, flaws in glass. All such things had a certain fascination for me, above all water and fire, smoke, clouds, dust, and especially the swirling specks of color which swam before my closed eye. The consideration of such images, as I have mentioned, the surrender to odd, irrational forms in nature, produces in us a sense of the harmony of our inner beings, with the will which has been responsible for these shapes. Soon we become aware of the temptation to think of them as being our own moods, our own creations. We see the boundaries between ourselves and nature quiver and dissolve, and we become acquainted with the state of mind when we are unable to decide whether the lineaments of our body result from impressions received from outside or within us. In no other practice it is so simple to discover how creative we are and to what extent our souls participate in the continuous creation of the world. To an even greater extent, it is this same indivisible divinity which is active in us and in nature, so that if the outer world were destroyed, each one of us would be capable of building it up again. For mountain and stream, tree and leaf, root and blossom, every form in nature is echoed in us and originates in the soul whose being is eternity. We can choose to have a simple life and use artificial intelligence, but will eventually get tired of it. The signs are already written in the sky. More and more people start to value real human connection and not so perfect creations again. What seemed promising at first glance reveals its shortcomings over time. A trained eye can easily recognize empty words and superficial thought in AI's repetitive mimicry patterns. When we look at our favorite artists, we can see their lives and struggles imprinted in their art. The secret of human creation lies in every person's unique experiences, as a mirror of our shared world. Inspiring works show us unforeseen new perspectives, but also lay open universal feelings every person can relate to. In that light, you don't need to worry about becoming obsolete as a creator. Quite to the contrary, your hard work and ethics will be valued more than ever by those who seek their beacon of authenticity in an ocean of mindless echoes. Stay creative and true to yourself. My dear friend, what do you think of today's developments and the use of AI in our fields? Do you believe that artificial intelligence also has its benefits, or are you strictly opposed to it? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and see you very soon in my next episode.